back to my channel. I am the Mass Trans and you are watching me, baby. Now, before we get today's video started, I just want to give a quick what's up to my peeps and a diabolical middle finger to the creeps. You know who you are. All right, you guys, so it is Tuesday morning. Hold on, my ear is itching. Oh, nothing like a good ear scratch, right? And I woke up to this story. Well, I actually saw the story yesterday, but I saw it again for a second time this morning, where Dave Chappelle has essentially agreed to meet with trans leaders, or at least trans employees of Netflix, I believe, to discuss the Netflix closure special. And a lot of people are excited about it, but let me tell you guys this. I'm ambivalent, right? I'm dubious. I'm indifferent, to be completely honest with you. Now, with all due respect to Dave Chappelle, here's my question to the trans community. Who is Dave Chappelle? Who is Dave Chappelle, and why have we as a community given him so much power that we feel, you know, we need to take a meeting with the king, so to speak, right? Like, we have to talk to Dave Chappelle. Girl, pish posh. Now, again, no disrespect to Dave Chappelle, but you know, like, I fancy myself, again, a critical thinker, right? Like, I like to see all different angles of an issue and really try to look at it from an unbiased point of view and really dissect it to try to see the nuance, right? And I thought a lot about that. I mean, it's hard not to think about the closure special as a trans woman, as a black trans woman, but I thought a lot about the closure special since it's happened. And so many different thoughts have been, you know, populating within my brain. You know, sometimes I'm like, okay, it's not a big deal. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I get why they're upset. And then at the end of the day, what I came to recognize is the closing special is about one person's voice, one person's opinion. And granted, he is able to disseminate that opinion out amongst the masses, so I get why there is some danger in that. But I also think that the trans community is missing the mark. And I'll tell you why. So recently during an appearance, I don't know where he was at, I want to say Chicago, I'm not sure where it was, but Dave said, look, I will agree to sit down with the trans community or Netflix employees, and we'll have this conversation under the following contingencies. And you have to have seen the special. What was the other one? You have to have seen the special. There was a couple more. I can't remember them off the top of my brain. If they come to me during this video, I'll definitely circle back around to that. But he wanted you to have seen the special and a couple of other things. And he basically said, look, you know, you're not going to punk me into a meeting until I get ready for a meeting. You're not going to summons me like, you know, like I'm some minion that you can just, you know, pull up on. Like, we're not having that. And I get that, because that's very much so my disposition. You know, nobody puts the mass trans in a corner. I'm going to do it on my time, on my terms, on my conditions, and when I feel like it. So in that particular respect, I can understand how he feels. But he said, and he also said in this appearance that his issue was not with the trans community. His issue was with corporate interests, what have you. Because since this whole Netflix The Closure special debacle happened, he had a documentary, 8 minutes and 46 seconds, that he's been promoting and ready to release. But now corporate won't touch it because of all of the backlash that he's received from the Closure special. And the documentary is about George Floyd, right? And so clearly, you know, there was sort of this melancholy, sort of morose energy when he was on stage. I don't know if he had smoked too many cigarettes. I don't know if he had took a few too many drinks, but there was just something to me that in his energy seemed like he had been beaten up, punched down on. It seemed like he had been punched down on. You know, it's not very often that you see Dave. Dave is sort of steeped in hubris, right? So seeing him be transparent emotionally, or saying that something is affecting him emotionally, isn't something that you very often get to see. But I'm a person who reads body language, right? And so his body language and his energy, for me, seemed as if, you know, he was a little emotionally exhausted from just this whole Netflix closure special fallout. And as a result of that, you know, he's willing to have this meeting. Now, here's the thing. As a black trans woman, first of all, here's how I feel. If you are hypersensitive to words, opinions, societal norms, standards, what have you, then you ain't got no business being trans. You ain't got no business being trans, baby. Because as a trans woman, you must be fortified in who you are, first and foremost. You know, when you make that step into your transness, it has to be F what anybody has to say. I'm effing with those who F with me. It's really just that simple for me. So I don't really care a whole lot about what Dave has to say. Again, I made a video about this previously, and I might intercut some of those previous videos because I haven't posted them yet, talking about my feelings about Dave Chappelle. So if you see me jumping in between outfits in this video, I'm going to post some of what I had to say about Dave Chappelle, because for me, I'm not moved by words very much. Like, I don't care if you call me the N-word. I don't care if you misgender me. Like, whatever you have to say to me is, I'm rubber, you're glue, bounces off of me and sticks to you. Guys, so it is Saturday afternoon, and I'm just getting back from running errands. I had a pretty busy morning so far. I've worked out. I've closed all of my exercise rings. I went to get my vehicle registration, so that meant I had to go through vehicle inspection, so I got that completed. What else did I do? Oh, I went grocery shopping, so I got groceries. I'm in the kitchen meal prepping. I'm gonna make a couple of things, and it's not the healthiest meal prep. You know, this is a get your man out your hair meal prep, right? Get him out my hair, because this man wants me to cook every day. But I'm just making some, some queso. Tonight we're having taco salad, so I'm gonna cook the meat and stuff for that. And then I'm making some jerk marinade, so I have that going in there as well. So yeah, so that's my Saturday so far. Now the thing is, I'm in the kitchen doing my domestic thing, and part of my problem is my brain doesn't have a shutdown button, right? It is constantly thinking. And this is why I fancy myself to be a critical thinker, right? Because I'm always thinking, and not just thinking of things in, sort of this linear fashion. Like, I'm always trying to see multiple different angles in terms of how I see things. So I made a video, I think it was yesterday or the day before, where I talked about essentially the hypocrisy, in my opinion, my channel, my opinion. You see how that works? Okay, so I talked about the hypocrisy between how Dave Chappelle is revered for his irreverence, but Roseanne Barr was essentially vilified, ostracized, extricated, and I've been thinking about that more and more and more, and I'm just starting to think, right? So we're going back to this closer special, and a lot of people are still upset about what Dave said in the closer special. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I understand why people are upset. I get why people are upset, but me personally, I am #unbothered. Unbothered, right? If you call me the N-word, unbothered. If you misgender me on my videos, unbothered. Whatever your opinion of me, whatever your impression of me may be, is completely immaterial to my happiness. Does not affect it. Does not affect it. So when Dave goes on his show and on the special, the closer special, a lot of the things that he said, I didn't take them personal because in my mind, he wasn't talking to me. I don't know who he was talking to, but he wasn't talking to your girl. So I didn't really get riled up by a lot of what he had to say. Now, since then, when some of the nuance of the language that he used comes into play, I get it. I totally get why people are offended. And maybe I should be offended, but I'm just not, right? Because for me, the things like this are putting my energy towards what Dave thinks or what Dave says is distracting me from my greatness. I'm trying to get to my own bag. Dave is on his bag, okay? And I'm not going to allow anyone's opinion, Dave Chappelle, a neighbor, a family member, a best friend, whatever, to impact my overall happiness and well-being. So for that reason, when the closer special came on, I watched, I laughed, I giggled, I kikied, and didn't really feel either way about it. Now, part of I'm trying to think of how I want to phrase this, right? Because I get why people are offended, but I also get why people don't understand why people are offended, right? So let me break it down. In my mind, everything that is created artistically is not intended for my consumption, right? I am not Dave's target demographic. He's not making that the closer special for me, He's making it for cisgender heterosexual people who want to laugh and point and ha 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 he look at the freaks. That's who he wants. That's who he is entertaining. And if people are entertained by that, so be it. It ain't bothering me none. I'll be the freak you want me to be, baby, but I'm going to be a successful one, okay? I'm going to be a successful one. I'm going to be an unapologetic one. Whatever you say, nothing you can say about me is going to have me walking around like this. Like I don't deserve and like I do not belong. So, I don't care. So, when Dave is creating this particular special, he's not thinking about how it's going to make me feel good. He doesn't care. And so, for that reason, in my opinion, it's not intended for me to see, right? Everything that is created is not intended for my consumption, right? Like, you have opera music. Some people love, live, die, breathe opera. A nasty sonata. But for me, opera is not my thing. It's an aria, by the way. That's what I meant to say. Opera is not my thing. So I don't watch it. I don't listen to it. I don't buy it. I don't purchase it. We coexist in the same world. But opera's over there minding its business and I'm over here minding mine. So I'm good. And that's really sort of the stance and position I take about most things. Look, you can say what you want to say, feel how you feel, but as long as your feelings don't turn into actions, we're good. Because the moment feelings turn into actions, we might have a problem. We might have a situation. I'm just saying. So, in that respect, I get why some people don't understand why the trans community is offended, right? Because from their mind, you know, he made that for us. It wasn't for you. You guys are too sensitive. This, that. Boom. Now let me bring this thing home for you. So I'm in my kitchen cooking, thinking, meal prepping, what have you. And it dawned on me, right? Because the point that Dave was trying to drive home, at least the point that I understood, was that there's a double standard and that cancel culture essentially needs to be canceled. You know, that people can't say what they want to say anymore without being canceled. And Public Enemy famously said, freedom of speech, but watch what you say. So you can say whatever you want to say and people can react however they choose to react. But what I realized was that people are okay with cancel culture as long as it's someone that they want to be canceled. I'm about to get real up in here. I'm about to get real. I'm about to get real up in here. People are okay with cancel culture as long as it's okay, as long as it's someone that they want to see canceled. Case in point. Colin Kaepernick. Ooh, I'm about to make it tough. Girl, look, don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at me. We're just having a conversation, right? And in order to move change, you got to be able to peel back the Band-Aid, expose the wound, and have real conversations, right? So Colin Kaepernick, he kneeled. He sat. He essentially said, F your Star Spangled Banner, honey. I will not. I cannot. I do not. And baby, white people lost their minds. White people lost their minds. He's going to do what? He won't do what? Get him out of there. Get him out of there. They don't even want him in the country, let alone on a team. White people lost their mind. Now, black people on the other hand were like, yeah, that's right. Stand up, Colin. You know, he has a right to say what he wants to say. He has a right to feel the way that he wants to feel. White people over here are saying, no, he doesn't. If you don't like the Star Spangled Banner, if you don't like our national anthem, then you need to kick rocks and flip-flops. Okay, buddy? And black people don't understand how white people could feel that way. Now, ultimately, as a result of that, Colin was sort of canceled, but not really canceled, but kind of canceled. He's not living out his dream of being a professional athlete. I'm sorry, guys, I just got a text message. And I don't think it's fair, because I wholeheartedly stand behind everything that Colin Kaepernick said. As a black trans woman, I wholeheartedly, 100% of my being, stand behind a black cisgendered man, because I believe in what he was standing up for. Doesn't matter that he is a cisgendered man. Doesn't matter to me, because I believe that his position is a valid one and one that deserves to be acknowledged, recognized, and supported. Now, on the flip side of that, conversely, let's talk about Mr. Kanye West, because Dave Chappelle said in his special, right, the baby has smacked a woman. The baby has, essentially, took somebody out the game inside of Walmart. He has assaulted countless other people. But it's not until He said something against the LGBTQIAP plus community that his career is impacted. And so I made the comparison with Roseanne the other day, right? But then I was thinking, right, Kanye West, is it Ye or Yeezy now? I know he changed his name recently, whoever he is. Mr. West is in the building. Famously said during a TMZ interview that slavery was a choice. It was a what? It was a what? It was slavery was a what? Blew up everywhere. Now for me, I haven't heard him apologize for that once. Haven't heard him apologize for that once. Black people will stand in line overnight, set alarms to wake up on the release date of a Gap product that was designed by Yeezy, the new Yeezys that are being dropped, the new album, show up at Sunday service. Black people continue to support him, buy his products, turn him into the richest black man in America. Cool. Now I want you to know this. Kanye, up until that point, when he said what he said on TMZ, was my favorite rapper. Baby Kanye, all things Kanye, I loved. All things. Hold on, my eye is itching. So, I loved all things Kanye. Up until the point that he said what he said on MTV. I'm sorry, on TMZ. And at that point, I was like, oh, I'm checking out. Done, finito. I wash my hands of the situation. Can't touch it. Can't deal with it. He has went too far, in my opinion, to come back. But without so much as an apology, baby, he's down there with Donald Trump, make America great again. He's a different Kanye. And black people continue to support his products, continue to buy, continue to show up in droves. Now let's ponder this for a second, right? All of a sudden, Kanye wakes up one morning with the wild hair up his ass, as he is prone to do. And he goes off on some random tangent about the LGBTQIAP plus community. You know, he's been reading his Bible. He starts to feel away. He changes his position. All gay people should go to hell, according to Kanye, right? And this is a hypothetical. This isn't what he said. This is a hypothetical scenario, people. Please, stay with me. And when he says that, the LGBTQIAP plus community says, too much, too far, we ain't having it. Not on my watch, in the words of Iyanla Vanzant. No, it's a wrap. You need to cut that ish out. I'm not buying Gap anymore. I'm not buying Yeezys. The LGBTQIA plus is calling for his music to be taken down. They're not supporting him anymore, right? Let's potentially say that's a hypothetical scenario. Now, if that happens, to use the logic of Dave Chappelle as it relates to the baby, what should we do? Because the black community continues to support him, because the black community continue to buy his products, all of a sudden the onus is on the LGBTQIAP plus community, because what? Now, I'm trans. I don't buy his products anymore. I don't listen to it. Well, okay, I might listen to a couple songs. In Paris, banger. Good Life takes me there. Good Life takes me there. That is my jam to this day. But my point being, because the LGBTQIAP plus stood up against Kanye in the way that the black community didn't, and caused his career to be affected in standing up, does that mean that the black plight is less important, less relevant than that of the LGBTQIAP plus community? Or does that simply mean that they made more noise than this group over here? I don't understand that logic. I don't understand why black people of color, continue to support a man who made a statement like that. I don't understand it. But people truly believe that what Dave Chappelle said was correct, was factual. And it ain't. And it ain't. Now, I'm here to tell you, again, just like I said in the beginning, I personally don't give a damn what you think. I don't give a damn about F your feelings. F you and your feelings. F you and your opinions. especially as it pertains to me. Don't care. So I'm unbothered by Dave. I'm unbothered by the bigotry. Listen, if a white person calls me the N-word, let me tell y'all, this is how you handle a white person calling you an N-word. You call them one back. You can put white in front of it. You know, call them one back. They ain't expecting that. What they're expecting is for you to get, you know, all out of sorts. Oh, you better, girl, that word has no power over me. Zero. Girl, as a matter of fact, use a white. Call them one back. And see, that's the thing that people don't seem to understand about, I'm a new breed of trans woman. I told you when they was talking about punching back, no baby, punching down, I punch back. I punch back. I am not here to be your doormat. I'm not here to be passive, to, you know, I'm that Nat Turner trans woman. I don't play that. And I'm not even talking about in a physical sense, but baby, disrespect begot disrespect. That's the world and the realm that I live in. If I ain't bothering you, don't bother me, and baby, it's cool. So, again, to bring this all to a close and put a nice little bow on everything, I agree, or I understand, with why people are offended with what Dave Chappelle had to say. I don't necessarily think that it deserves the amount of attention because, again, who is Dave Chappelle? I think people should be more focused on what their legislators are doing than what Dave Chappelle is saying. Not just trans people, but black people, women, should be more focused on that. So anyway, you guys, I'm sure people are going to be upset about what I have to say. Girl, they usually are. I've come to the conclusion that my channel is one that is rooted in unpopular opinion, right? I'm not here to go along to get along. I don't say what, you know, I'm not going to say what everyone wants me to say, right? I'm going to give you a comprehensive overview of how I feel about the issue, why I feel about the issue, and hopefully we can agree to disagree. Maybe you can leave a comment and enlighten me, make it see it, maybe see it from your point, or maybe I might, you know, say something that turns the light bulb on for you. Because people are so upset, right? Black people don't like trans people. Trans people are, you know, upset with what Dave said and this, that, and the third. Don't let me say all black people, but y'all, you know what I'm saying. And we're all distracted by the minutiae, the things that really have no impact on our life, our happiness, our livelihoods. Get focused on the bag. Get focused on the money. I'm telling you, people, money is power. When you have money and the power to make decisions, to live well, to move differently throughout this world, it will change, you know, the impact that the things that Dave Chappelle has to say. Empower yourself through education. Empower yourself through your livelihood, and empower yourself through give yourself permission to be at peace. Don't be bothered by all of this static and this white noise out here. Don't be. The only thing that impacts is when you try to make it physical. If you try to take it to a physical level, we have a problem for sure. Now, as it relates to Dave and the trans community, the reason I feel like the trans community is missing the mark is because we're focusing on Dave and the optics, right, of what it looks like, how it appears, what it seems. Meanwhile, these politicians and state legislators are doing whatever they want to do to the trans community, and we're over here talking about the Dave Chappelle closer special. Now listen, I can't tell you how to spend your time, how to spend your energy, but last I checked, Dave was not signing any bills in any legislation, right? He is just a black man with an opinion, a toxic opinion, but an opinion nonetheless. And so he can have his toxic opinion. He is entitled to his opinion. I don't have a problem with his opinion. And again, I don't take his opinion personally because he's not talking about a bad bia. He ain't talking about a bad bia. So, you know, I'm from the school of a hit dog will holler. A hit dog will holler. Aroo. And so if you are said dog, when someone says something offensive to you, then you're going to holler and get upset about it. I'm not really moved or impacted by it. Not just Dave's words, anyone's words, outside of the people who really matter in my life. So it could be Dave, you know. Now if Joe Biden would have gotten up there and said something transphobic, oh yes, okay, I'm with y'all on that because he's Joe Biden. But Dave Chappelle is a comedian. He is, you know, the low man on the totem pole, so to speak. And here we are putting all this time, effort, and energy into taking a meeting with him. You have the meeting with him, and it does what? What changed? How did it make things better? You think because you took a meeting with Dave Chappelle, people who called you a man before aren't going to call you a man after? You think because you took a meeting with Dave Chappelle, people who don't believe, who TERFs are suddenly going to have a change of heart and not be TERFs anymore? Whoever people are is who they will be until they make a decision to change. So I don't put the onus necessarily on Dave Chappelle. Do I wish as a trans woman that his messaging and his branding was different? Absolutely. Absolutely. But at the same time, I'm not living my life based on the disposition, beliefs, values, ideology of Dave Chappelle. It's not how I get down. You know, I take my happiness, my well-being, and control. It's up to me to put a smile on my face every day. It's up to me to reinforce and to affirm who I am. It's not Dave Chappelle's job. That's his job if he has kids, but I'm not his child. I'm not his child. I'm a grown woman. So I don't need him to say, hey, you know, I get it. You poor trans people. You poor trans. I don't need that. I don't need that. In fact, I guess I'm sort of just the opposite. I love knowing how people really feel and what their true thoughts are. If you feel a way about me, let me know. Let me know how you feel, because I might feel a way about you too. And now that we know how we feel about each other, we can have a mutual respect to not cross paths, okay? You stay over there, I'll be over here. Boom. No harm, no foul. So anyway, you know, shout out to Dave for at least taking the meeting. I think it's good that he is taking the meeting. Again, I don't understand what the end goal is, but I do appreciate the fact that he is, dare I say, humble enough to have this meeting. And maybe some good will come out of it. Again, I don't know what that good could possibly be. But, I mean, if it brings some healing to those who need healing, fantastic. You know, and maybe it'll bring some healing to Dave, too. Because, again, he did look a bit downtrodden, in my opinion, during that recent appearance. So, hopefully, you know, it'll be some healing for everyone, because the reality is all of us, black, white, male, female, trans, gay, straight, Asian, Hispanic, Haitian, whatever race, nationality, creed, gender orientation, gender identity, whatever you are, everyone is going through trauma. Everyone is going through trauma. And the more we learn to just simply respect that everyone has their own trauma and stop this whole thing of my trauma is greater than your trauma or your trauma is lesser than my trauma, the better off we all will be. But again, I'm just a lowly trans woman here on YouTube running my mouth. So, all right, you guys, comment below. I'm really curious to know what you think. Like, if you believe something positive will come out of this meeting, if you believe that it'll be fruitless, if you believe that it's a meeting that needs to be had at all. I'm definitely curious to know what your thoughts are in relation to this particular meeting. So definitely put your comments below. I'm really excited to see those. Thank you again to all of my new subscribers. I definitely appreciate you guys signing on and listening to your girl. So thank you for that. I was going to talk about this whole Tammy Rivera CVS incident really quick, but I don't know. I don't really care. I don't really care. But so anyway, you guys, again, do me a huge favor. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. And as always, in closing, ask yourself this one poignant question. Why be bitter when we can be better? So let's be better together. I am the Mass Trans, and I'll talk to you guys again in my next video. Mwah. Have a good day. Bye-bye.